Jimmy Kimmel is indeed on the way to being canned for late night TV, and it appears it's already happening with the Oscars. The late night comic who has gone hyper partisan is not hosting the awards show. No, it's been handed to someone else. And the who else it might be really matters. For folks who are here to tell you, Conan O'Brien represents a time and a nostalgia that people want to go back to. They're done with uber political, late night, not funny TV men. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It is a joy. Come on, and let's get started. One and all, heed the call of explaining entertainment, keeping you ahead of the culture curve. It's what we do, a passion and a zeal that even the Holly Weirds can feel. Folks, as we get ready to get started, consider clicking the like button. And if you enjoy this kind of content, consider stopping on by the Patreon, where we do even more spicy stuff than we can do here on YouTube. It is www.patreon.com/WDW Pro. And folks, with that, here we go. All right, Jimmy Kimmel is forced to put the spotlight on the man who's replacing him because he was unable to sustain and maintain good ratings for the award season for the Oscars. So who is it that's coming in to replace Jimmy Kimmel and kicking him out the door that he must spotlight even more? Well, pay attention. Let's dive in. Here we go.
First guest tonight literally threw down his top hat and cane to stop rehearsal and walk across the street to be here with us. He is host of the Oscars live this Sunday on ABC and Hulu. Please say hello to Conan O'Brien.
All right, now we're not going to play the music part for obvious reasons, but we will say what a funny thing this is, that basically Jimmy Kimmel is the current late night guy. Conan was part of the prior generation. Jimmy Kimmel cannot run the Oscars because the Oscars have run off Jimmy Kimmel. It turns out that we all want what late night used to be, so they're going back to that. Meanwhile, Kimmel has to talk up Conan. And watch, I want everybody to see this. Remember how we play these clips of Kimmel and how vitriolic and venomous he is? Watch how much more pleasant things are. I bet that Conan is a lefty. I don't know. You know why I don't know? Because he's just funny. He tries to be funny. Watch the atmosphere when you have a great from the prior great comic generation, Conan, on the show.
There's a real hostility to that.
Well,
Conan! You know what you did.
thank you.
How are you, sir?
I'm doing well. I appreciate you being here. I know
I
you are
appreciate you
super busy
inviting me.
right
Thank
now. Did you walk across the street?
I was across the street at the Dolby Theater, preparing for the Oscars, and then I said, "Hey, it's time to go see my good pal Jimmy Kimmel." I crossed.
Meanwhile, Kimmel has to sit there knowing that he's been kicked out of the Oscars. And this guy, this happy-go-lucky guy, this lanky man, this Irishman has won the day. And it turns out that vitriol and hyper-partisanship is not the way to get an audience. The Oscars, they've realized that. Play a little bit more, and then we'll go to the story of why Conan has replaced Kimmel.
I made a mistake. No, we're gonna have a great show. We're gonna have a great time. Things for me, come together very late. So I started working on the Oscars about 4 hours ago.
That's enough.
I'm gonna pull an all-nighter, ladies and gentlemen. No, we've been working hard. I think we have some fun ideas.
It's just pleasant. None of that venom. None of that terrible hate that's on late every single night on TV. And take a look at this. The Hollywood Reporter is basically now reporting that the Oscars are promising, they're begging you, they're telling you, it won't be like it was when Kimmel was here. This is by Mikey O'Connell out of THR. It says, Oscars producers promise show won't need to kill time this year. Well, wait a minute. Who would they be blaming with that? Who would they be saying, oh, after running under in 2024, prompting Jimmy Kimmel to read a certain critique of the show on air, new host Conan O'Brien apparently has a surplus of material. Folks, are you seeing the subtext there? They're not saying it directly, but they're definitely saying it indirectly. Jimmy Kimmel did not bring enough content to the Oscars. Well, and if you think that's the only reason they're unhappy, think again.
I'll just suggest that some of that content is laughs.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, when they don't have enough laughs to make it last. Here it says, last year, consummate host Jimmy Kimmel, well, consummate no more, found himself in a rather unprecedented predicament for an Oscar telecast. Time to kill. So, well, he read a scathing review of his performance by a once and future president to blow through some extra minutes. Oh, I bet that was successful. That won't be happening this year. We were actually under time, says returning Oscars executive producer and showrunner Raj Kapoor. I remember thinking, we're having many backup plans in the event this happens again. As television producers of live events, I don't think we've ever been faced with that, so it was a great lesson to learn. Have even more material just in case. And again, they're not directly pointing at Kimmel, but that's who they're pointing at. They're saying Kimmel didn't have enough jokes. There weren't enough laughs, so we're going to Conan instead. Check out this quote. This is them talking about Conan this year. He has so much material that even the gems aren't going to make it to air. We are definitely gifted with how much time Conan has invested in this show. OMG, wouldn't you know it? Making things be about partisanship just doesn't work. I got a feeling that it's not just about the Oscars. I got a feeling that the networks wish they had people like Conan, like Leno, like Letterman back again for late night, because going hyper political has not driven hyper ratings whatsoever. And by the way, they've never depended so much. They've never depended so much on a host to carry them as with this awards show where Amelia Perez has the chance of deflating everything. They need Conan to pick them up. They don't trust the current crop of comics like Colbert and Kimmel to do it. They're going back to what we are nostalgic for now. Comics who are actually funny. Panel, what say you? And do you find it ironic at all that Kimmel had to spotlight Conan, his replacement?
Jimmy Kimmel got caught coasting off of other people's success. How weird. It's not like we haven't been watching him do this for the last 25 years. And listen, they have no choice. They needed this is a desperation move. I love Conan, though this is a desperation move. They know that people do not like Kimmel, especially since he got humiliated by Sylvester Stallone, and deservedly so. I have to say I'm enjoying the Schadenfreude that Jimmy Kimmel has been giving me since election night. But they needed someone very different, someone that people like, because they put themselves in a hole. We are in the middle of, I don't want to, let's see, it's a nice way of saying we are borderline very anti-celebrity culture right now. So watching a bunch of adult pretenders pat themselves in the back for 5 hours is the last thing the 90% of this country wants to do.
No, and it's that kind of self-abuse, right, that put us in this particular position. So you're 100% right. Yeah.
Well, the other thing I would say too is, Kimmel, we talk about him having piggybacked and rode the coattails to success. This is a man who is best known, like the way he got his career started was desperate teenage boys tuning into the Juggies and then seeing that guy and be like, oh, he's kind of funny sometimes.
Hey. I was one of those.
You were one of those Juggy fans?
I will say that back then, that was our entertainment, right? Spike TV and the like. So,
Lauren, were you a Juggy junkie at all? And do you think that we've all had enough of Jimmy Kimmel at this point? Is this pointing us towards going back to what was funny before?
Well, I think the people that enjoyed that probably just followed Adam Carolla. Yeah, so
Yeah.
That's exactly what happened.
Yeah, that's he's genuinely funny, So no, I wasn't a fan back in the day. I honestly didn't even know about it. I discovered it later, so I was kind of behind the curve on that.
Wouldn't you say Adam Carolla is truthful in his comedy?
Yeah.
Isn't that what's required for honest things? Because Conan came out, and I'll let you answer. I'm sorry, Lauren, but
nope.
Conan came out a couple of years ago when late night TV was dying, and said specifically, coming out and saying, "Doesn't Trump suck?" isn't a joke. He said that was Donald Trump's greatest crime when he won the election, was that he made everybody unfunny. because they lost their minds. They were incapable of making a truthful, honest, from the heart joke. And of course, I'm paraphrasing what he said, but this is why I love Conan. I've loved Conan forever. I like the quirky redheaded guy who was self-deprecating in his humor, and kind of understand that you have to play both sides of the line. And if you're going to do political comedy, you have to play both sides of each party. There is no court jester in their right mind that wanted to stay on the good side of the king, that didn't not make positive jokes about the king and negative jokes about the king. But they all were based in truthful honesty, right, Lauren?
Yeah, and I think it's honesty. It's also surprise or shock. What a comic has, and the reason you have the jester around, is that he's able to say things that nobody else can say. And oftentimes what gives you that spontaneous laugh that comes out is that somebody says something that maybe in the deep, dark recess of your mind you were thinking, but you never thought somebody would say. And that's what makes it funny.
Well, and I think that's really important. I mean, being able to vocalize it, which I think I was tagging on to what Kevin said a few moments ago. It's just that Conan's just able to do it, and Kimmel just can't anymore.
Yeah,
He's completely incapable. He's completely ideologically captured. Go ahead, Lauren.
Yeah, it's part of the problem with becoming slave to a particular ideology, is that when you do that, you lose the ability to laugh at yourself. And that's the best kind of humor. When your friends are roasting you, the reason that it's funny is because they're pointing out a truth about yourself that you know. And most of the time, we're being serious in our lives, and normally you might be offended by that. But when your friends are doing it, you know they're doing it with love. And that's what makes it funny.
You know, it's interesting, and correct me if I'm wrong, if Kevin is still here. Conan never did a lot of political humor. I mean, it was there occasionally, but that wasn't his bag, right? And yet, in hosting the Oscars this coming weekend, which is going to be funny because it seems to come on the heels of like this release of a list, I think on Thursday, that's tomorrow. that maybe not go so well for Hollywood, but so the Oscars are on Sunday. Conan's going to be hosting it. He's got a plethora of material, and he says he thinks he'll probably have to make some political jokes. I just don't think that's going to be a lot of them. I think that he's just funny guy. Team Coco is one of my one of my things. When he went over to TBS, I'm like, he's free.
By the way, I don't normally do this. In fact, I've never done it before. Let me just show you this.
Oh, Craig Ferguson's great. Oh my God.
Slightly unrelated, but really sort of related as well.
Same guys.
I watched the entire thing. The Craig Ferguson, I'm so happy monologue. It's about an hour long. He's back on tour, and this is what people want. I'm telling you, it's hilarious. It's blue, okay? So it's not safe for work. But if you enjoy Craig Ferguson, it's hilarious.
Yeah.
And there's nothing in it that's political. He does make fun of wokeism, but there's nothing in it at all that's political. And that's what people want. Nobody wants to go to bed, whether it's late night TV or the Oscars. Nobody wants to go to bed with dread because they just listened to the world is ending. They want to go to sleep with good dreams and humorous one-liners in the background of their mind. And the idea that we ever got away from that shows that networks have lost their minds. That's what I think about it. Anyway. Nolan, any thoughts on that one?
No, I think you hit the nail on the head. I think the whole society, a lot of, young adults and teenagers out there, they missed out on the golden age of, the talk show hosts and stuff. Like, most people just see these talk show hosts as just political puff pieces. And it's really been a direct mirror of society, of how basically everything, from the celebrities on X to our Hollywood movies to our entertainment, is basically saying, feel guilty about just existing and breathing. You are a problem in our society, and we're going to act like we're somehow so much better. And I think with what you're saying there, I think people do need to be able to lay their head on that pillow at night and feel like, hey, am I just in doing good actions in my life, even if it's not on a grand scale? Am I doing something that's going to make the world a better place? And with how politically charged everything's gotten, they've decided to alienate as many people as humanly possible. And if we can have someone that could come in and be kind of a white knight to be like leading into a new direction, I think that could be very beneficial to society and late night TV as a whole.
Absolutely. Folks, we're going to pay attention to it because it could be a momentum shifter when it comes to how networks are going to continue on with late night, a genre that is precariously close to not going on anymore. The Oscars could be the door for them to say, we're going back to unanimous fun once again. Culture, did you just say no? Did you say that's not going to happen?
No, I think late night's dead. I think it's already gone. And I think Jimmy Kimmel, when his contract ends in 2026, is no longer there.
All right, folks, Culture says get out of fork because it's dead. Well, folks, we've come to the end of another video of pure excellence and fun. Explaining entertainment, keeping you ahead of the culture curve. That's what we hope you believe we've just done. And why should you believe it? Well, because we've done our very best to make it so. To be true, to be factual, and to do what the mainstream so-called access journalists simply won't. Folks, you can help share this out across the fruited plains of YouTube by clicking the like button. Share, subscribe, click it, stick it to the algorithms. It is the notification bell. Drop a comment down below. Let us know your thoughts. And folks, as we get ready to say sayonara for now, we ask that you keep learning, keep growing, and wherever you are and whatever you're doing, keep having fun. Jump into the water.
Why listen to music made by people and companies who really don't like you? Check out Vacation Radio today and prepare for all new content made by the people behind the WDW Pro Channel. It's the place you need for all the music. That should be fun. Hundreds of songs, every genre you can imagine. Listen live on YouTube and enjoy a set list that's always sunny. It's Vacation Radio. What are you waiting for? Every WDW Pro video has a link to Vacation Radio in the video description. Try it out and subscribe today.